President Tinubu condoles with Kano State and Aminu Dantata family, extols virtues of the late business icon.
I sympathize with you. I sympathize with the entire nation. We've lost a titan and a great conscience of our country.
Expectant mothers in Adamawa State benefit from First Lady's antenatal care program.
I am here on the instance of the First Lady to deliver the free delivery kit.
Also on the news, Nigerians joining foreign militaries. What are the implications?
Living and going to defend another man's country, nah, it's not my thing. I might not take it up like that until I feel my country is safe.
Good evening, I'm Lami Ali. Welcome to NTA Network News. We're live with stories making the rounds and the latest updates from across Nigeria. Tonight's lineup is exciting. Joining me are Hingino John Adams from Lagos with the latest developments that matter. Maria Ado-Zakari with the business news that affects your bottom line. And of course, Bade Adeleye with the sports highlights that will get you pumped up. Do endeavor to follow this newscast live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now on X, and on other social media handles of the NTA displayed on the screen. Now, stay tuned for an evening of informative and engaging news. Let's get started. We begin from Kano, where President Bola Tinubu eulogized the rare personality of the late renowned businessman and philanthropist Al-Haji Aminu Dantata. State House correspondent Musmaud Wahab reports that President Tinubu visited the family of the deceased in Kano, where he described late Al-Haji Dantata as a titan and a great national conscience.
President Bola Tinubu, in company of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and others, were received by a huge delegation led by the Kano State Governor, Abba Yusuf, and a military reception for the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Residents of the northern commercial city were well aware of the presence of the president, and the show of love on the streets was equally visible. The president headed for cookie at the residence of the Dantatas. Notable members of the family and indigenes of the state, including Al-Haji Aliko Dangote and Al-Haji Tanko Yekasai, received the president.
We seem very, very close to my family.
President Tinubu recounted his close relationship with the deceased, whose hard work and generosity he said Nigerians will greatly miss.
He is a man of immense personality, honesty, integrity, and philanthropy. Commitment to humanity in every aspect of the way. Generous, so good, so committed to great value of our country.
The president also acknowledged the demise of the late businessman as a national loss.
I sympathize with you. I sympathize with the entire nation. We've lost a titan and a great conscience of our country, a humanitarian for that matter, par excellence.
Following the death of Al-Haji Aminu Dantata in Abu Dhabi, UAE, on June 28, President Tinubu directed some of his ministers to attend the burial in Saudi Arabia. The family appreciates that decision as a mark of honor for their late patriarch.
We regard you in very high esteem. We have seen your cordial relationship before you became president. We have seen how you interacted with him while he was alive, and we have now seen how you have reacted to his demise. On behalf of the family, we thank you wholeheartedly.
We are aware about your assistance in terms of talking and appealing to the leaders in Dubai as well as Saudi Arabia. Now we want to thank you for that.
The president is back in the Federal Capital Territory. In Abuja, Musbal, then Wahab, NTA News.
The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Defense, Ambassador Gabriel Tanimo Aduda, is advocating for strengthened defense collaboration between the United Kingdom and Nigeria. This was at a high-level meeting at the British Parliament's House of Lords, convened in light of increasing global security complexities and the pressing need for sustainable defense partnerships. The discussions focused on restructuring and revitalization of the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DICON, the country's premier defense manufacturing institution. The Permanent Secretary also emphasized government's commitments towards transforming DICON into a commercially viable and investor-attractive entity capable of addressing domestic security needs while contributing to regional and international defense solutions. Now, Nigerians joining foreign military services has sparked concern, with social media flooded with videos showing Nigerian-born individuals flaunting their military careers abroad. What drives these individuals to seek opportunities outside their homeland, and are there potential risks and challenges that come with it? Defense correspondent Najan Atitijani examines this growing trend.
Many Nigerians intrigued by the possibility of living abroad and earning in foreign currency quickly jump at any opportunity to do so.
Of course, I'll take the offer. I feel they pay them well, and then they get a good package for their military.
Yes, I will be interested to join because I once applied at NTA. I wrote the exam even. But you know, yeah, I will gladly accept the offer. Their own is just do your job and they pay you what you are due.
This young man, however, chooses patriotism over what he calls the unknown.
Living and going to defend another man's country, nah, it's not my thing. I might not take it up like that until I feel my country is safe.
Available data suggests Nigerians are increasingly serving in the U.S. military and gaining American citizenship through military naturalization. The U.S. Army accounts for 60% of all military naturalizations during this period. Several Nigerian celebrities have also joined the U.S. military. Military in Africa reports that hundreds of Africans have been recruited as mercenaries. Official figures suggest more than 200 Africans have joined the Ukrainian forces. These individuals are often enticed by promises of substantial payments and potential citizenship post-conflict. Such is the case of a Nigerian man, Kehinde Oluwagbemileke, who was captured by Ukrainian forces while fighting for the Russian military in the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, in exchange for a reduced sentence on drug-related charges. The old saying, the grass is greener on another person's lawn, might be behind migration. But here in Nigeria, key players say there are equally more opportunities to make the country greener. For instance, the Nigerian military regularly makes calls for recruitment into its officer and non-officer cadre. Similarly, the Civil Defense Correctional Fire and Immigration Services Board recently announced recruitment into 4 major paramilitary agencies with more than 18,000 positions available. These security stakeholders say to avoid falling prey to foreign military recruitment scams or becoming mercenaries, Nigerians should verify opportunities, be cautious of unrealistic offers, prioritize local opportunities, and join the Nigerian military, paramilitary agencies, or other local organizations which offer stable and secure employment. Nigerians who are in the U.S. military are legally and legitimately permitted to do so. Experts are therefore calling on those at home to look inwards to make the country far better rather than falling for recruitment scams elsewhere. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
All right, thank you, Naja. Now, to continue the conversation on this part of the increasing volume of immigration of Nigerians to other countries in search of better economic opportunities is the National Orientation Agency's Director for Special Duties and State Operations, Mr. David Akoji. Sir, thank you for joining us on the news.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. Now, what are the underlying factors driving the Japa phenomenon among Nigerians, leading to them seeking opportunities in Western countries, including serving in foreign military formations?
Well, if you listened to that intro shortly before this conversation that we're having now, you would identify some of the motives that's driving our young people to join these foreign armed forces. Now, the thing is this. Joining the armed forces is a calling in the same tradition as becoming a pastor or an imam is a calling. And it's a very high calling. It's a calling that entails sacrificing your life to a cause, you know? And so it should be driven by a sense of patriotism, not pecuniary benefits of getting higher pay, getting citizenship, and some of those motives that you heard some of those young people that were interviewed explaining. I think they lack this understanding. Patriotism is love for your country. And if truly they are driven by a desire, by patriotism, then it is the Nigerian armed forces that they should be joining. You know, in recent times, under the present leadership of General Christopher Musa, the Chief of Defense Staff, there's a lot that is happening in the armed forces, you know, to bring it to a certain level where it becomes enviable, even within the context of the African region. You know, if you examine the innovations that are coming about as a result of the visionary leadership being provided by General Christopher Musa, you will find that our military is far more attractive today than it was before. And so our young people should be aspiring to join our military, not to go to foreign military establishments where they would be inhibited by the glass ceiling. And what do I mean by the glass ceiling? There's certainly a limit to which they can grow in their career in any foreign military. There's also the challenge of discrimination. You saw the presentation of that young man who went and joined the Ukrainian military in exchange for a reduction in his sentence for drug use and all of that. You know, such people are thrown to the hottest part of the battle. They put their lives at risk, you know, and because they are not driven by that high calling that I described earlier of patriotism, then it becomes a waste of life if, peradventure, they get killed in the hottest parts of the battlefield, for those of them who join where there's conflict, you know, ongoing at the moment. So we think that our youth should embrace patriotism, should participate in building the Nigeria of their dreams. You know, the grass is greener where you water it. Those places that you are looking at and thinking that if you go there, you are going to get the best. Some people put in the work and the labor to make it what it is that you find attractive.
All right. You've dwelt on the implications, the consequence of joining foreign military by Nigerian youths. Now, what policies or initiatives can the Nigerian government implement to address the root causes of Japa and also encourage other skilled Nigerians to contribute to the country's development rather than seeking opportunities in whatever sector abroad?
So what we're saying is that first and foremost, Nigerians should embrace love for country. If you have true love for your country, you would want to participate in its development. There's no country in the world that does not have one kind of challenge or the other. You know, there's no perfect situation anywhere. Even in countries that are far more advanced, you know, than we are. So the encouragement here is, let us not put our lives at risk. Let us not go to other people's countries and become second-class and third-class citizens. You see what is going on in some of these countries now. All the repatriations and the discrimination and the seizure of even people who have green cards cannot travel back to their country and expect that they can come back without inhibitions. You know, so why should our people want to put themselves through this kind of inconveniences and situation? You know, yes, we have challenges in this country, no doubt about that. But these challenges will go away if all of us commit to doing the right thing as patriots. If we commit to the principles of ethics and ethics of justice, social justice, and of self-reliance, of believing in ourselves and in our country, and knowing that it's up to us to fix whatever we think is wrong with our country and make it right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Al-Haji, for bringing more perspective to that issue.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for staying. The National Orientation Agency is appealing to parents and guardians to ensure that children of school age are enrolled in schools to ensure their future is guaranteed. Kenneth Nanim reports that the agency has taken its campaign against child labor to the palace of Sir Karui of Karu Chiefdom of the FCT here in Abuja.
The Child Rights Act of 2003 is a law that guarantees the rights of all children in Nigeria and makes provisions for the right to name, survival and development, right to parental care, protection and maintenance, right to health and health services, free, compulsory and universal primary education, amongst others. The Act having been domesticated by most of the states in the country, yet many Nigerian children are out of school, suffer neglect, exposed to harmful situations and other forms of forced labor. Campaign by the National Orientation Agency is urging parents, guardians and the entire public to desist from acts that dehumanize children.
Children are unique. They need our protection. They need our care. They need our love. We don't need to put them into a job that is too big for them, job that will downgrade them.
This sensitization campaign is interactive in a language the locals will understand. The Sir Karui of Karu, chiefdom of the FCT and other leaders in the area are partners in the fight against child labor.
You know, children are always being molested, they are beaten, they are overworked, they are overstretched. They don't go to school, and we've been preaching that one. We're against it seriously.
Even if a child is under your care, encourage the child to go to school.
And in all forms of child abuse and molestations, as well as domestic violence, are also contained in the message by the NOA. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
In line with the present administration's agenda on provision of aid to vulnerable citizens, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Humanitarian and Poverty Reduction, Delu Bulus Yakubu, presented support to pregnant mothers receiving antenatal care, plus relief materials to recent victims of insurgent attack on some communities in Hong, Adamawa State. The initiative is in collaboration with the First Lady's Renewed Hope Initiative on healthcare for women and underserved communities. Correspondent Mary Adamu George has details.
The first time we're experiencing this thing, and we thank her. The Lord will bless her to do this.
Honestly, we are very much appreciative of the gesture.
These were the reactions of some of the beneficiaries. Delu Bulus Yakubu, while interacting with the women, during their antenatal routine days, told them how the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, is much concerned about their plight and advised them to maintain good hygienic environment during pregnancy and after delivery. This prompted our office as the senior special assistant to the president to collaborate with the office of the First Lady to provide the most essential kits to this set of vulnerable women in the locality.
I am here on the instinct of the First Lady, Senator Remi Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to deliver the free delivery kit to the pregnant women.
Professor Yauba Mohammed Saad, head of clinical FMC Mubi, who received the team, lauded the initiative on the importance attached to the delivery kits to the center and most women in the area. In Yola, Mary Adamu George, NTA News.
Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed Mohammed Babangida as chairman of the revamped Bank of Agriculture, along with 8 others to lead various federal agencies. The appointments include Lydia Kalat Musa from Kaduna State, who is the chair, the Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority, Jamilu Wada Aliu from Kano State, Chairman National Educational Research and Development Council. Honorable Yehuza Ado Inua from Kano State is also to chair the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON. Sanusi Musa SAN from Kano State is the chairman, Institute of Peace and Conflict Resolution, IPCR. Professor Al-Mustafa Al-Haji Aliu, Sokoto State, Director General, Directorate of Technical Cooperation in Africa. Sanusi Garba Rukiji, Zamfara State, Director General, Nigerian Office for Trade Negotiations. Mrs. Tomi Shomefun, Oyo State, is the Managing Director, National Hydroelectric Power Areas Development Commission, HYPADEC, and Dr. Abdul Mumini Mohammed Aminu Zaria from Kaduna State is the Executive Director, Nigerian Integrated Water Resources Management Commission. As the renewed hope agenda of the federal government continues to gain momentum, spokespersons on the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress are getting up to speed with the task of effectively conveying impacts of the 8 points components of the agenda to Nigerians. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that the Office of the National Publicity Secretary is sitting on the driver's seat in the drive to endear Nigerians to the national government and governing party.
The renewed hope agenda has remained in the heart of the Tinubu's presidency, with widespread impact across the key component of the transformation drive for national development and economic prosperity.
You need to carry the populace along with all the policies that you are executing. This is why information communication is essential and is a critical factor of democracy. And that's why we are here, to really rub minds with our colleagues at the state level.
So when I say Renew Hope Agenda is not just a slogan, it's real. And government is trying to do everything, all the things possible to put the economy on a better footing than we had before.
Let us learn, share ideas, and commit ourselves to a more effective, coordinated communication strategy.
That all of those generational problems that have held our country down, that have denied us the very best shot at transforming the foundations of our national life, that today he will confront those problems.
As a spokesperson for APC, we need you to run with the achievements and the message of this government.
The engagement is expected to build capacity of spokespersons nationwide, leveraging existing conventional and the new media in putting facts and figures first above sentiments and unquenchable quest for power. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
The National Summit on the Future of Nigeria's Constitutional Democracy has ended in Abuja with a call for the adoption of a new people-driven constitution. that reflects true federalism and national inclusivity. The summit, convened by the Patriots in collaboration with the Nigerian Political Summit Group, brought together stakeholders from diverse sectors of the society. Here is Timothy Yusuf with the report.
The 2025 National Summit on the Future of Nigeria's Constitutional Democracy, held in Abuja for 3 days, brought together a broad spectrum of Nigerians. Participants critically examined Nigeria's governance challenges under the 1999 Constitution.
The summit is not writing the Nigerian Constitution. What the summit have done is to talk to Nigerians across the divide and find ways and means of moving forward.
Again, in the rejigging of the security structure, the summit believes that the sub-national, the federating units should have their own police force, which has often been referred to as state police.
Others include independent candidacy, strict anti-defection laws, full deployment of electronic voting technology, and inclusion of women and youth and persons with disabilities in governance. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
For the teaching profession in Nigeria to catch up with the fast-growing digital world that will empower a generation of teachers equipped to deliver dynamic, inclusive, and reflective learning experience, education programs must promote digital equity, innovative teaching practice, provide continuous support for hybrid teaching strategies, encourage reflective ethical technology use, and content knowledge seamlessly. This is coming from experts in Nigerian education at a workshop organized by School of Education, College of Education, Zuba, Abuja, with the theme Hybrid Learning for Teacher Educators in the Digital Era. The workshop provides an avenue through which competences of educators shall be developed on leveraging emerging technologies to enhance teaching and support 21st century learners.
Today our students are lazy. They don't come to classrooms. So we have devised a way to teach them at home. Even if they are sick in the hospital.
You will have to use technology to make sense to them. One of the reasons why educators also must employ technology.
Teacher educators must lead this change by fostering technological proficiency, ethical responsibility, and pedagogical innovation.
Digital tools, when creatively deployed, can democratize learning.
Provost of the college, Dr. Suleimundi, and the dean of the school, Dr. Badamasi Ayubatada, who invested so much on digital innovation, believe knowledge is impacted on students from wherever they are located. In a move to deepen infrastructure development and strengthen people-centered governance, Jigawa State Governor Malam Umar Namadi has flagged off the construction of a key road and a modern hospital in Kwiwa local government area. The initiative, Mohammed Musa Askari reports, is part of his administration's weekly citizens engagement program aimed at inclusive governance and grassroots development.
Governor Umar Namadi has officially launched the construction of the Friji to Dan-Abzin Road, a 29.1-kilometer stretch awarded at the cost of 11.3 billion naira. The road project is expected to boost rural connectivity and enhance economic activities in the area. In addition to the road, the governor also commissioned a befitting hospital in Kwiwa local government area, further demonstrating his administration's commitment to improving healthcare delivery in rural communities. The dual projects were launched ahead of the state's weekly government citizens engagement initiative, a platform introduced to ensure inclusive development by allowing the people to directly shape the state's policy and budget priorities. Responding, Governor Umar Namadi expressed delight at the positive impacts of his administration's projects on the lives of ordinary citizens. He affirmed his government's resolve to pursue projects that directly benefit the people.
This is quite impressive, what we have seen, and you can see the enthusiasm on the people, the way they appreciate.
So the essence of this program, I think the program is achieving its objective. We are having an opportunity to tell the people what the federal government under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing to the people of Jigawa State. We are also telling the people what the state government is doing to the people of Jigawa State. This has been communicated to the people, and the people are appreciating this.
The governor noted that the All Progressives Congress is gaining deeper roots among the people of Jigawa through responsive leadership and developmental strides, an encouraging sign, according to the stakeholders, for the party's prospects in the 2027 general elections. With this citizens-focused approach, Jigawa State continues to set the pace in participatory governance and rural transformation, keeping hope alive for a more prosperous future. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And from Jigawa, we go live to Lagos. Hingino John Adams is joining us with the latest developments from the commercial hub of Nigeria. Hingino, what's happening in Lagos tonight?
Lami, and welcome to Lagos. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has projected that approximately 30.6 million people across 26 states and the Federal Capital Territory may face acute food and nutrition insecurity at crisis level or worse during the June-August 2025 lean season. This is indeed worrisome. Correspondent takes a look at what concerned bodies are doing to cushion the effects.
Communities, we don't have roads that are motorable. The cost of labor is now very high.
These are some of the challenges faced by Grace Bukola and many other farmers like her across Nigeria and Africa at large. Concerned about such sad experiences of farmers, which pose great threat to food security, the African Union launched the Kampala Declaration in 2025, a build-up of the Malabo 2014 and Maputo 2003 declarations, which focus on achieving a sustainable and resilient food system through mobilization of significant funding for the sector.
Let us account for what is going into the budget, and let's deal with all the bottlenecks or selected bottlenecks, the top bottlenecks that are hindering the agri-sector.
These experts and stakeholders are drawing the attention of relevant institutions on the importance of achieving goals that can help boost the agricultural sector.
The ministry is helping smallholder farmers with fertilizer and other agri inputs in various states across the nation.
With recommendation of 10% of the national budget by the declarations, Nigeria is still lagging behind. But the federal government is not relenting on meeting the targets.
We have up to 3%, which has improved from previous budget, which is maybe 1%. Or 0.5%.
With robust plans and effective implementation strategies on ground, farmers will go to their farms smiling, knowing that their little efforts will contribute greatly to the nation's food security and economy. Let's now turn our attention to the education sector. The Universal Basic Education Commission is requesting that an amendment of the 2025 bill be made to increase access to consolidated revenue provided by the federal government to fund basic education to various states from the current 2% to 5%. The submission was made by the Executive Secretary, Universal Basic Education, Aisha Garba, at a retreat organized by the Commission for joint committee members from the National Assembly on Education. Amaka Owo reports.
The Basic Education Commission is working towards achieving its mandate of ensuring 100% access to education at the basic level for children across the country, with data from the Commission indicating that about 7 million children across Nigeria have never been enrolled in schools.
One of the key areas that we're seeking amendment here is to ensure the issue of equity is addressed in terms of basic education, to ensure that the Act is reviewed.
To this end, the Commission is seeking the collaboration of both chambers of the National Assembly through a 2-day retreat to close the gaps, dissect clauses, and make adjustments for amendment of the 2025 bill.
We want to increase the funding from 2% to 5% that will accommodate the current realities in ensuring every child has a free and quality education in Nigeria.
This new amendment will give you back the power to deploy the funds across the states in accordance with the needs. That there are quite a number of poor infrastructure in our schools, and we need to fix that so that we can also encourage students to go to school.
Education is key. It's number one. So to make these states have functional foundation education for the children should make the contribution of that counterpart fund a priority to any government.
The Commission also says as of 2023, the number of out-of-school children increased to over 18 million, and as such, timely passage of the bill to enable access to funding by states, especially those with lower statistics of children in schools, will cause a positive shift in trend. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Next is business news with Maria Adu-Zakari after this break.
Welcome back to the network news. Let's talk business. Nigeria's headline inflation declined for the third consecutive month to 22.22% in June 2025, down from 22.97% in May. This moderation comes at a crucial time, just days ahead of the Monetary Policy Committee's next meeting, where policymakers are expected to decide whether to maintain or adjust the benchmark interest rate. We had Dr. Aliyu Elias, an economist and public policy analyst, earlier in our studio to break this down for us.
CBN actually reported last week or thereabout that there is increase in input, and according to CBN, there is a rise in the input of agricultural produce, manufacturing produce, and that may in turn return our inflation to be moving up ahead. That's a reduction is a reduction, and is a positive omen both for international community in terms of foreign direct investment and even local businesses. However, if you look at the reduction, it's a function of a drop in food inflation, because it's not only the headline that is actually dropping, it's also food inflation that is dropping.
Bonny Light is the toast of the moment, selling above other benchmarks at $78 per barrel, while other crude futures held steady on Friday as mixed U.S. economic news offset worries. The European Union's latest sanctions against the U.S. for its war in Ukraine could reduce oil supplies. The Brent crude sold for $69.37 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $67.38 per barrel. Let's take a look at how other commodities ended the week. At the end of last weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 2.206 billion shares in 28,585 deals corresponding to a market capitalization of 39.571 billion were traded. Today's data shows 85% improvement in volume, 7% decline in turnover, and 24% decline in deals. The current market capitalization was at 83.2 trillion naira, and we have the all-share index at 131,585. On the aggregate, 129 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 46 gainers and 25 losers. That's it on business. It's back to Lami for the rest of the news.
All right. Thank you so much, Maria. And from business, we go to the judiciary, where the Court of Appeal, Abuja Division, says the National Human Rights Commission acted beyond its mandate when it constituted a special investigation panel to look into complaints on oil spillage in the Niger Delta region of the country. Olabode Arewa reports that the ruling is based on an appeal filed by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL.
Arising from frequent cases of crude oil spills in regions of the Niger Delta, where oil flow stations and pipelines are located, farming communities in Akwa Ibom State filed a complaint in that regard, seeking monetary claims. The National Human Rights Commission, acting under its mandate, set up a special investigation panel to investigate complaints against the National Oil Company, the NNPC. NNPC had purchased the assets and liabilities of Adax Petroleum, the company initially accused of being owner of the busted pipelines. The trial court, having given its nod to the Human Rights Commission's findings, the NNPC approached the Court of Appeal for redress. Looking into the National Human Rights Commission Amendment Act and the 1999 Constitution, the three-man panel, led by Justice Okonabang, agreed that the National Human Rights Commission has jurisdiction to look into human rights violations, only that the Federal High Court is the one with the requisite powers to entertain cases concerning oil spills. Using the principle of stare decisis, the three-man panel, led by Justice Okonabang, decided that the National Human Rights Commission acted beyond its powers, thereby upholding NNPC's appeal. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Now, the Police Community Relations Committee, PCRC, has called on Nigerians to disregard calls for a strike by personnel of the Nigeria Police Force, assuring the public of the force's continued commitment to maintaining peace and security across the country. Francis Form reports that in a show of support, PCRC leadership from all 36 states of the Federation converged on Abuja to pass a vote of confidence on the current leadership of the Nigeria Police Force. The committee describes this purported strike threat as misleading and unpatriotic.
All what Agbetoku is doing is to give Nigeria Police a facelift, of which we have feedback across the 36 states of Nigeria and FCT. All the Nigeria Police under Agbetoku are winning war against crime and criminality. We call on federal government to do more for the Nigeria Police in terms of their welfare. We talk about the police pensioners to look at their welfare as well.
The PCRC reaffirmed its support for ongoing reforms within the force under the Renewed Hope agenda and urged officers to remain professional, assuring that issues of welfare and operational challenges are being addressed through appropriate channels. The Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar, has attended the Muslim World Leaders Summit at the Oxford Centre for Islamic Studies in Oxford, England. The two-day event marked the centre's 40th anniversary and featured a gathering of esteemed leaders, including King Charles III, former Turkish President Abdullah Gül, and Saudi Prince Turki Al Faisal. The summit aims to promote interfaith dialogue, inter-civilizational understanding, Islamic finance, environmental issues, and the growth of Muslim views. Sultan Saad Abubakar emphasized the importance of peace and dialogue in achieving social harmony and peaceful coexistence, reiterating that Islam is a religion of peace. Accompanied by his Sarkin father, Al-Haji Kabir Aminu Tafida, the Sultan's participation underscored Nigeria's commitment to global peace and understanding. The 2025 edition. Now you're watching the news at 9. Time to bring you some more messages. Do stay. Sports update is next with Badi.
All right, let's begin with women's football as Nigeria's Super Falcons are through to the semi-finals of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations following a comprehensive 5-0 whitewash of Zambia in Casablanca. Osinachi Ohale shot Nigeria ahead when she headed in a free kick in the second minute, and the 9-time African champions doubled their lead through a fine finish from the impressive Esther Okoronkwo before Chiwendu Ihezuo made it 3-0 on the stroke of half-time with a composed finish. Oluwatosin Demei nodded in the fourth from another pinpoint free-kick delivery midway through the second half, while Folashade Jamilusi rounded off the scoring in the first minute of stoppage time. Nigeria, who are yet to concede a goal at this year's finals, will face either defending champions South Africa or Senegal in the semi-finals on Tuesday. Moving on, Abia emerged overall winners of the 5th edition of the Para Badminton Open Championship, which ended Thursday in Umuahia, the state capital, with a total of 17 medals made up of 5 gold, 5 silver and 7 bronze medals. Plateau State finished second with 8 medals, while Ogun State placed third with a total of 5 medals. Kwara, Imo, Rivers, Kebbi, Delta, Akwa Ibom and Bayelsa states completed the top 10. President of the Badminton Federation of Nigeria, Francis Obi, attributed the success of the championship to the support of Abia State Governor, with the Open coming as a precursor to the first Abia Para Badminton International Championship scheduled to take place from September 30 to October the 5th, 2025, followed by the All Africa Para Badminton Championship from October 6 to 12.
To represent Nigeria in Canada and the Paris Paralympics. And one of them was an Abia State player.
And finally, Nigeria's Junior Tigers delivered a strong performance on Friday afternoon, defeating Argentina 68-58 in a FIBA Under-19 Women's Basketball World Cup classification game. They outscored Argentina in the first 3 periods and maintained their lead despite an even final quarter, wrapping up the game with a 10-point advantage. With this victory, Nigeria progresses in the classification rounds, boosting their quest to finish strong in the tournament. That was it on Sports Tonight. Let's return to line.
Thank you, Buddy. And that does it on the news at this time on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for being a part of it. I'm Lami Ali. Do have a good weekend.